option that was given by the poll panel in 2014, mandated by a Supreme Court order the previous year, the choice to reject all candidates by the voters, to choose none of the above or NOTA. And since 2014, it's been used in all elections, Rajya Sabha and of course the 2014 Lok Sabha polls. But suddenly, in the Gujarat Rajya Sabha elections scheduled for the 8th, the parties are panicking. The Congress has even gone to Supreme Court with an urgent appeal to be heard on Thursday. But why are the parties only waking up now? There have been umpteen Rajya Sabha polls since then. And what happens to the party whip, which parties say is all important, which forces them to vote for their own candidate? Are indirect polls different from direct polls like Lok Sabha polls? We'll talk to our experts, our panelists in just a bit. But first, here's what the party positions are.
Case where the preferential system of voting is there, and the Supreme Court judgment of 2006 goes into great detail as to how the voting will be done, how the counting will be done. So there is no NOTA which can be applicable here. No, it's not a question in a tight election or a loose election. It is just not on. When the party discipline is final, there's party whip and open voting. Where is the NOTA?
Okay,
and NOTA will give what? Preference 1 NOTA, preference 2 NOTA. It's a joke.
राज्य सभा का चुनाव इनडायरेक्ट होता है और इनडायरेक्ट चुनाव में नोटा का प्रोविजन जो मूल भावना है राज्यसभा के चुनाव की उसको कहीं न कहीं नुकसान पहुंचाता है। इसको लेकर हम लोगों ने मांग की है कि नोटा तत्काल खत्म किया जाना चाहिए और यही नोटा खत्म करना निष्पक्ष भयमुक्त माहौल में चुनाव के लिए जरूरी है।
So this option, why are political parties really scared of this option of NOTA in this particular polls? To answer that question, we have former election commissioner, chief election commissioner Dr. S.Y. Qureshi. From the BJP, we have Anshul Verma. From the Congress, we have Mohammad Khan. And from, Supreme Court advocate Gopal Shankar Narayan as well, to give us a legal point of view. Of course, we have our audience, which is part of agenda. So first off, this distinction that is being made by politicians in this, that it is unfair in Rajya Sabha polls, NOTA, or the option for a voter to choose none of the above, is not fair in an indirect poll. I want first, before I go to Dr. Qureshi, I just want to ask the politicians in this to answer first. Why is it that, one, that you're objecting suddenly, and why the distinction?
Right, I guess that's a fair question to begin with. So let's start with this. I think there are two reasons. The first is both the judgments that are cited by them as well as us, surprisingly, refer to the same point. These elections are conducted in a very different manner. They have a different standing in the Constitution.
But you've had such elections before.
If I may complete. Now, under Article 80 subclause 4 of the Constitution, the elections of the Rajya Sabha के लिए उसका जो format है वो बिल्कुल अलग होता है और इनका format अलग होता है. So there is no question of NOTA being applied here. It would be grossly egregious of us to say that NOTA का जो judgment है वो यहाँ पे भी लागू होता है. For the reasons you yourself said, party whip होती है. So where is the question that arises? Number two, look, the last few days have demonstrated that any iota of fair play that could have existed in these elections have gone out of the window. There was a code of conduct that existed before the BJP came to power. And let me tell you, and start with backwards orders. With Bihar, Goa, Manipur, Uttaranchal and Arunachal Pradesh, it is now clear that there is no level to which the BJP will fall. I don't know what prompted them to file this representation before the Election Commission, but I am in complete agreement with them.
Okay.
We cannot trust the level to which these gentlemen may fall or the rules which they may employ to try and get the numbers on their side.
So the Congress feels scared. They first said that there was horse trading.
Not scared at all.
Congress is afraid of horse trading, is afraid of the numbers. But BJP, Anshulji, why is it that the BJP is having a problem with NOTA, and you went to Election Commission to complain against it? When even the problematic one of Haryana elections, where we saw such an intense fight, there was nobody complained about NOTA. So इस बार क्यों कर रहे हैं?
मैडम, मैं यही कहना चाहूँगा कि पहले जो चीज़ अननोटिस चली गई है, ये कहना कि टफ फाइट है या कुछ है, दिस इज बियॉन्ड दिस स्कोप. जो चीज़ करेक्ट होनी चाहिए, ये अपने आप में एक मजाक लगता है.
It was unnoticed before.
See, this was, this election commission was given direction by the Supreme Court's order, by Supreme Court order. There was no amendment to the act.
Right.
First of all.
Right.
इस वजह से ये unattended गया. And this is indirect election.
Okay.
As you understand. नोटा रहा है, नोटा का लोगों ने प्रयोग किया है, लगभग 15 लाख के ऊपर नोटा।
तो बस आप सिस्टम को और कह रहे हैं ये गलत सिस्टम है अमेंडमेंट के बगैर।
When it is open, जब आप जा रहे हैं, पार्टी व्हिप है, सब कुछ है।
और इस गुजरात पर्टिकुलर इलेक्शन से कुछ, इट्स नॉट लाइक पीपल आर स्कैर्ड ऑफ दिस इलेक्शन, क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा फाइट है इस वजह से।
ऐसा टफ फाइट तो है ही नहीं। We don't see any fight, but again, this is not the agenda.
Okay,
We are talking
Dr.
about NOTA.
Qureshi, you've heard the two political parties. Do you accept that? Why do you think that the parties are crying foul in this particular election?
I don't know, but your basic question, why is it that after 2014, January 2014 was the Election Commission order,
Right.
it has gone unchallenged and unnoticed, nobody really cared for. To my mind, that order probably was erratic, was mistaken.
The EC order?
EC order, because they didn't see the implication, and I'll tell you why it was probably wrong. Mr. Anand Sharma was quoting 2006 judgment of
Right.
the Supreme Court, which was specific for the election of member to the Rajya Sabha.
Right.
Now, whereas the NOTA judgment of 2013 had general application.
Right.
Now, Election Commission thinking that NOTA is the principle to follow, and it should extend to all elections. Therefore, in January they extended it to the Rajya Sabha as well. They didn't realize that the election to Rajya Sabha was governed by a different article, which was quoted by my friend Mr. Khan. So, secondly, it is an indirect election. You have to give second preference vote. Now, if you have given vote to NOTA, so what is your second preference? That becomes redundant. So, that is the second thing.
Right, so the whole process of a Rajya Sabha election
is
okay.
different. Is
Right.
different.
Right.
And I say pretty good case, and now that it's a unique situation when both parties have come
So
with
why
this.
have both parties woken up now, do you think?
Well, I don't know, because although on the electoral roll of Rajya Sabha, every time NOTA must have been printed, but maybe nobody ever exercised that, and which is why it went unnoticed. It has been printed on every electoral roll after that. That was the order. But anyway, as he said, better late than never. Whenever you realize that it was a mistake,
This is
it needs to be corrected.
fascinating. Isn't it? Do you yeah, go ahead.
My question is,
Sit, yeah.
see why the BJP has been silent before it was raised by Congress. After it was raised by Congress, BJP is telling that now it was wrong. What were
Anshuji?
it?
जी, I think we are supporting the cause. अगर कोई चीज सामने आई है आंखों के, तो उसका समर्थन किया जा रहा है। एमलेसली अगर आप एक दूसरे को ब्लेम गेम करते रहो, वो चीज सही नहीं है। जो प्रावधान के विरुद्ध है, 20 साल के बाद, दिस इज, जैसे कह रहे हैं कि भाई इसमें किसी तरह का संशय है हमारे मित्र को कि कोई दबाव बनाया जा रहा है या कुछ है, हम उसको समर्थन देते हुए कर रहे हैं। लेट्स प्ले वेरी फेयर।
Okay, I want
20 साल के बाद गुजरात में पहली बार ये
That's
इस्तेमाल
right.
किया जा रहा
That's a
है।
good point.
देर
yeah.
आए दुरुस्त आए।
हाँ, that is the point.
Yeah, because before this, just for our viewers, before this, the Rajya Sabha polls in Gujarat have never been contested. It's been direct elections, straightforward elections. For the first time, it is a fight. Gopal Shankar Narayan, you've heard all these judgments being quoted. One of the things that is being pointed out is that what is more supreme? The party whip, which if they don't follow, then there are grounds for disqualification, or the EC order in an election.
As far as an individual, and this is where I think I will agree with both parties on this, the context of the Supreme Court judgment in 2013 dealing with NOTA came specifically out of 49O, which is a specific electoral order. Now that dealt with an elector, not referring to an MLA being a voting party, but dealing with an individual on the street being a voting party.
Right.
Because if we are dissatisfied with the people that we are going to vote for, we have to have the option, our freedom of saying, no, we don't want any one of the above. There were further arguments made which were not accepted by the court, that look, if we say NOTA and NOTA is more than the other two candidates, then countermand the election, have a fresh election with new candidates. That was not accepted. So eventually, however high NOTA is, out of 100 people, if you get 98 votes which says none of the above, but 2 votes for the Congress gentleman, Congress will get elected, strangely, and that's how the system will play out. Now the question here is and I agree with them, with an indirect vote, where unlike the elector on the street who doesn't have a whip, not a manifest whip as we can see, the Constitution provides that in case somebody acts against the whip, as far as an MLA or MP is concerned, he will be disqualified.
Right.
Now, to protect himself from that, he has only 2 options. one, he either goes with what the party whip has said, or two, if he goes against that party whip, that there is a 15-day period thereafter in which he has to get excused for that.
Yeah.
I don't think NOTA applies in this kind of a situation within the four walls of the house, because that is not what NOTA was for. Here, if you have a whip, you will act according to that whip, which is why the other issue that is actually the one that is serious for me is this so-called abduction of MLAs, taking them away, that kind of stuff. That makes that all parties have been doing it across the board. It started in Karnataka in the early 80s.
Is there a legal bar to that as well?
There isn't. That's a problem.
There isn't a problem. But I wanted to ask you, sir, the EC has also given a clarification. Gopal Shankar Narayan is pointing out that, you know, this whole thing about disqualification if they don't follow a party whip, they've clarified saying that it won't apply in a NOTA case in this. Yes, so they're sticking by it. So unlike what you're saying, that they made a mistake, they don't seem to be accepting they made a mistake.
No, when did they say that?
They've given some clarification
today.
When asked.
I don't know. Anyway, now that both parties have gone before them and this issue is before the Supreme Court, there is a basic difference between the normal election and Rajya Sabha election. 49 was violative of your secrecy, because when if you didn't want to vote for anybody, none of the above, you had to declare.
True.
With the result, all other your local candidate will get to know you never voted.
Right.
And if he loses, then he'll come and punish you.
Right.
We also supported it in the Supreme. We have been demanding it for 14 years. We supported it in the Supreme Court to protect your secrecy. But in Rajya Sabha, for this election, there is no secrecy.
It's an open.
By the order of the Supreme Court, there is no secrecy.
Right.
It's an open vote. So the character of the two elections is totally different.